Here we go. Ready? Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. It's time for another movie review. Tonight's movie is
American Animals.
American Animals. Very good. So, this has a 7.6 on IMDb. So that's kind of exciting. It says 4 young men mistake their lives for a movie and attempt one of the most audacious heists in U.S. history. So, it seems like it could be pretty good. And everybody remembers our favorite co-host, Kimmel, right? There she is, everybody. She actually picked this movie. I was trying to decide which movie to watch, and I gave her a list of movies, and she said American Animals. So, if it's not any good, it's her fault. Ah, just kidding. But if it is good, it's your good job here.
You said one of those options, so I picked that one.
Right. So that's how we chose our movie tonight. It stars Evan Peters. Blake Jenner is another name I recognize. And Jared Abrahamson. I think he's pretty cool. I think I've seen him in a couple of different things. So, maybe not. I don't know. But we'll get into it here a little bit. Well, I will. You're going to watch it too? I don't know. But one of us will. And I'll check in and tell you a little bit more of what the plot is really about and what I'm thinking about it so far. So, stick around.
This is weird.
Yeah, screensaver's on. She likes the screensaver. She's easily amused. Right? Okay, so that's it. We'll get into it here a little bit. And I'll check back in, okay? Say bye. Alright, see you in a little bit. Hey everybody. Time for a quick check-in here. We're watching American Animals. We're at the 54-minute, 36-second mark. And it's really entertaining. I think the very first part that I'd like to mention is the fact that it comes up on the screen. It says, this is not based on a true story. And then they take that words out and it says, this is a true story. So, this is actually a true story that we're watching here, American Animals. And it starts off with 2 friends, college kids in Lexington, Kentucky, who stumble upon the information that there is a library. Their library at their university has these rare art books in them, and that they're worth $12 million. And so they start just thinking to themselves that they're going to start to steal these rare books, and they're trying to move along and develop a plan on how to do that. They even contact somebody who will fence all of these art books for them so that they can make the money in the end. They discover throughout the planning process that just the 2 of them can't do it. So they reach out and they get a 3rd guy. And then they realize through that planning that they can't do it with just the 3 of them. They need a 4th guy. So right now we're up to 4 people who are involved on it. All somewhat friends throughout high school or in college, something along those lines. But it's pretty interesting in the fact that, as I said, they think they're in a movie. They do. I mean, they're referencing Ocean's 11. They're referencing Reservoir Dogs. You know, they even start calling each other Mr. Pink, Mr. Yellow, Mr. Green, Mr. Black. You know, so like they're really like using the movies to help plan this. And even better, that they're cutting from the movie, you know, the actors that are playing in this movie, to the real live people who tried to pull this heist off, or pulled the heist off, I don't know. But they're cutting back and forth, and you can see as they tell the story, that, you know, the small details are, you know, well, I remember it was this way, Warren remembers it was that way, but like little things. But it's very interesting to see the actual people who are involved in it throughout the entire movie, not just at the end. So far so good, but it is like an Ocean's 11 Reservoir Dogs kind of movie in a sense, because they're at the planning stages of this heist, and they got blueprints, they got models, they got the whole 9 yards on how to steal these things out of a library. And that's where we are. They're right now laying out the plan between the 4 of them to figure this all out and how they're going to get away with it. So it's entertaining. I like it a lot, and hopefully it stays good. I'm not sure how it's going to end. I don't think it's going to end well, but I'll keep going here a little bit, and if anything interesting happens, I'll let you know. And you know, talk a little bit about how good this is. So stick around. oh wait, one thing I wanted to talk about was the actors that are in it. So, as I mentioned, if you're not aware who Evan Peters is, so he's in the X-Men now, and he was also in Kick-Ass, Deadpool, but he was in Deadpool 2 because of his relationship with the X-Men. I also mentioned the what was his name? Jared Abrahamson. He was in Hollow in the what was it? Hollow in the Land. So if you haven't seen that, check out my review on that. I'll post that up there so you can see it. I gave that movie an 8. But that's where I think I discovered him, and I really liked him a lot. Kind of a different character in this movie, but you know, still okay. And that's really it. But I thought I'd talk about them. I do like both of those actors. Alright, enough of that. I'll get back into it more. Let's see where this goes, so stick around, alright? Hey everybody, we're at the credits of American Animals, and I have to say, it was a really good film. I don't know, I never heard of it, and how I found it, whatever. Obviously you've heard about it, so that's why you're watching this, to see if it was any good. I definitely think it's worth watching. It starts off, I think, as I explained, it starts off like a general heist movie on Ocean's 11. I know I used that reference before, things like that, with a bunch of kids who are planning to steal books from a library. And, you know, their biggest obstacle is a librarian there. And they bring other people into it, and it's all that planning and stuff, and it's also a little bit of male bonding. I think part of the reason that they continue to move forward with this is because they want to belong, and they want to have friends, and they just want that aspect of it. And I think they also, you know, want something exciting in their lives, and you know, I don't really think, from what I gather from watching the film, is this is not something like they weren't crazy about the money that they were going to receive. It's more about the adrenaline and the rush that you get, because, you know, as I think about it, what they were planning on stealing was, they're saying around $12 million, and when they fence it, they're only going to get like 30 to 40% of that. So if you think about it, it's basically they're going to end up with $4 million, and there's 4 of them, they're each going to get $1 million, right? I mean, I don't know, stealing something just for $1 million, taking that big of a risk for just $1 million does not seem worth it, you know, when you're a kid and your whole future in front of you, and you know, you don't have any bills at this point or anything like that, so you're in college. So that was kind of one of the things that I was like, what? Why would they even continue to do this as they bring people in and they're spreading out the money more? You know, so all this risk for that. So that's what leads me to believe that they're just doing this just to do it, not so much for the money. I love the commentary from the actual 4 people who are involved in it throughout the entire film. And it gives you everything I look for in these true life stories, and except it gave it to us throughout the film. So you really knew what was going through their minds as it was happening in the movie. Instead of just waiting to the end and saying this is where they are now. They do that part too. This is where they are now. This is what happens. Really, I enjoyed it. I thought they did a good job of picking the actors who kind of did look like the real people, pretty much, for the most part. And I thought that the acting was really good. I liked everybody who was in it. I liked the 4 guys who were in it. You really, you know, it's interesting to see, you know, what happens to everything here. And I'm not going to tell you, but as you can imagine, nothing ever goes as planned. They have this plan and it should work, but then nothing really goes as planned. What do they do? Do they get away with it? What happens? All that kind of stuff. So there's that whole action piece and the edge of your seat and stuff like that. So I enjoyed all of it. I am probably going to give it an 8, absolutely, because I love true life stories, especially when it was told this way. And I like things that, you know, I've never heard of before, and I watch it and it's like, wow, that one was pretty good. So if you're into that type of stuff, true life stories that have like all the actual people in it narrating throughout it, bank heist movies a bunch of guys getting together and being friends, this might be a good movie for you. I would encourage you to check it out. I think it's worth it. Slightly long. I think it was 1 hour and 58 minutes. So a little bit long, but I think it's needed. I don't think there was any part that I could say, hey, cut that part out or anything like that. And And that's about it. I think I give you enough information to make you dangerous, and hopefully you check it out. And if you do, let me know what you're thinking. Love to hear your comments. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and all that stuff. So I really would like to hear from you. So thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.
Thank you.